What are firefighters and fire departments looking for in a candidate? I know many of you, if not all of you, have had this question at some point in time. We are going to cover this overwhelming question right now, so stick with me. Hey guys, it's Markel Williams from Firefighter Ambitions, where we help candidates like yourself reach your goal of becoming firefighters.
Welcome to video 1 of our 3-part series.
If you're new here, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification so you get notified anytime we post new content.
It isn't a secret that a fire career is highly sought after, with the market being highly competitive. Thousands of candidates year in and year out compete for just a handful of spots.
Knowing and understanding what fire departments are looking for in a candidate is vital to having success in the recruitment process. So, what are fire departments looking for in a candidate? They're looking for a candidate that's passionate. What is passion? Passion is a strong feeling or belief about something. This is important to the fire department because the career is filled with many obstacles. Some of these obstacles include running high call volume, especially at night, being sleep deprived, being away from your family, the struggle and strain of trying to promote. And a big one is seeing things that the normal person wouldn't see. You know, things that you can't get out of your head and dealing with that struggle. And also, we're living with an unconventional family in a sense. When you get brought in, you're pretty much adopting, or they're adopting you into the family. So it comes with the same territory as a normal family. You know, you got the different personalities, the struggle and strain of trying to get along and working together. You're with them a third of your life, so it's a big deal. And with all these obstacles, it can lead to an individual to become burnt out. And when an individual becomes burnt out, it can lead to negativity, which can be cancerous to an organization. You know, their drive's not the same as it was when they were once hired. They're kind of salty, as we say. This is a huge red flag for fire departments, and this is exactly what they're looking for in a candidate, because when times get hard and the pressure's on and the stress is high and adversity's high, you're gonna have to draw back to your passion is what drove you to pursue this career in the first place, what drives you to go above and beyond for not only the external patient, but for your crew member and your team members. And passion comes into play huge when it comes to pursuing the fire service, and that's exactly what fire departments are looking for. Fire departments are looking for a candidate that exhibits total wellness. So what is total wellness? It's about growing in all aspects of your life, actively taking steps to pursue a healthier and more fulfilling life. Why is this important to the fire department? It's stated that our well-being directly affects our actions and emotions. Simply put, if we don't take care of ourselves, how can we take care of others? And if we're not taking care of ourselves, we're not only putting ourselves at risk, but we're putting the rest of our crew members and the community at risk as well. A firefighter career is high risk, high stress, and it's no secret. So if we don't actively take care of ourselves, the stressors can overwhelm us and overcome us, leading to dangerous outcomes like drug and alcohol abuse, depression, malpractice in the field, or even worse, suicide and death. We as firefighters aren't immune to dangerous outcomes. In fact, we're actually at higher risk than the normal person to these dangerous outcomes. So we have to really monitor our total wellness and make sure that we're doing everything in our power to make sure that we're healthy in all aspects of our life. So what does total wellness consist of? Emotional, physical, financial, social, intellectual, occupational, environmental, and spiritual. Emotional wellness is important in the fire service because we need to understand our feelings and abilities to effectively cope with the stressors of the job. So we need to utilize our outlets throughout our career to kind of keep us level and grounded. So outlets like playing sports or doing yoga or going fishing, whatever hobbies and interests that we enjoy, we need to utilize that to keep us level. Physical wellness is important in the fire service because the job demands it. It is our job to maintain a healthy body by engaging in fitness, watching our nutrition, making sure we're getting enough sleep, especially because the job can deprive us of it sometimes. And a big thing is just paying close attention to our body. What's it telling us? You know, when we're sick, seeking, help from the doctor and taking care of our sickness and things along that line. Physical wellness is important in multiple phases of the recruitment process and on the job. But referring to the recruitment process, if you walk into a firefighter interview and you look well out of shape, that's going to cast a negative image off to the interview panel. But if you come in looking the part, looking clean, professional, well in shape, that's only going to cast a good image of you, in turn helping you along your recruitment process. Now, There are departments out there that utilize a practical, it's kind of like an NFL combine in a sense for firefighters though, to where you go down and you engage in physical fitness and team building activities and firefighter skills so they can further evaluate their candidates for hire. If you go into one of those practicals well out of shape, you're only going to be shooting yourself in the foot. Now, if you're prepared and your physical wellness is up to par, you're only going to be helping yourself, setting yourself up for success to land in the job. As for being on the job, our physical wellness needs to be up to par because we have to be ready to respond to any emergency at any given point. So as firefighters, we need to make sure that we maintain a strict fitness regimen so we're ready to respond to any of those emergencies. Not only is our job as firefighters to educate about fire prevention and respond to medical or fire or rescue emergencies, but it's our job to promote health. So if we're hopping off of our rigs, our engines, our trucks, rescues, whatever the case is, and we look well out of shape, that's only going to cast a negative image off to the community. Now, if our physical wellness is up to par and we hop off our trucks, that's going to reassure the community, letting them know that, hey, we're here for you and you're safe. For those of you who do not know, community members are taxpayers and voters. So that's how we get paid, and that's how we get things voted in for what we need for the fire service. So we need to do everything in our power to always cast off a positive image to the community because we're there for them just as much as they're there for us. Without them, we wouldn't have our jobs and the nice things that we have. Okay, I gotta be straightforward here. Not all EMS and first responders are physically up to par, but most of us are. This sheds light on the importance of taking care of yourself because we do a lot of twisting, bending, squatting, dragging, a lot of different movements that require us to be physically ready for it. Because if we're not, we're only limiting ourselves in our career. I must say though, there are some first responders and EMS providers out there that aren't physically up to par, but they can still do their job pretty well. But you're still taking a risk because at some point something's gonna give. That's why being on top of your physical wellness is so important. We don't work our butts off for 25 plus years to retire and die. We work so we can have a good retirement. So the goal is to work 25 plus years and then to enjoy retirement for 25 plus years. So taking care of your physical wellness is extremely important, and that's why the fire service is looking for candidates that are up to par in their physical wellness. Financial wellness is learning to effectively manage your financial responsibilities. I mean, let's be honest, not having enough money is pretty stressful. Why is financial wellness important to the fire service? Well, we're trusted by the community. We gain access to their homes, their privacy, and their valuables out when we're on calls. So if your financial health isn't regulated and up to par, what's gonna keep you from stealing just to make a quick buck when we're out on calls? This is important because when you get hired, are you gonna be that individual that spends more than they have? Maxing out your credit cards, buying a big truck, having multiple vehicles, buying a big house that you can't afford. This is huge because with the stressors of the job, the stressors of life, on top of maxing out everything that you have, that's just gonna create more and more compounded stress on you throughout your career, which can lead to you becoming more of a liability to the fire service. You're not only hurting yourself if you're not financially stable, but you're hurting your family, the people around you. You wanna make sure right now that you're organized, you're paying your bills on time, you have a savings account, emergency fund if you possibly can. Don't get me wrong, I understand where a lot of you are gonna be at, being, they call it the hungry or starving student. I get it, I've been there, but you can take the steps right now to set yourself up for a good financial future for yourself. So practice good habits, be sound in your finances now, and continue to grow and develop your financial wellness because that's what fire departments are looking for in a candidate. As for social wellness, simply put, it's how we interact with others. Making sure that we're having encouraging and positive relationships. Not us only encouraging others, but others encouraging us as well. Just surrounding yourself with like-minded people so you guys can almost piggyback off each other and grow and reach your goals together. And that's one big thing about social wellness is the understanding that no one makes it alone, especially in the fire service. Candidates are linking up with each other. We're networking with other firefighters and other departments because we all want to help each other reach our goals. Now, from a candidate standpoint, when I was testing, I would meet up with other candidates and work on interviews. We would engage in fitness regimens, try to get down and do some skills courses. We would also be that lending ear to one another, through the grind phase of the recruitment process. And that relationship continued to build onto the job. Why is social wellness important to the fire service? Well, we don't want to bring in individuals that are going to isolate themselves from the crew. This job demands camaraderie and teamwork. As firefighters, we experience a lot, not just on the job, but even outside at home in our personal lives. So when stress is high, adversity is high, this is when we really lean on each other to help kind of cope with the stressors of life. So if you isolate yourself as a crew member, you're not only affecting yourself, you're affecting the rest of the team, because not only could the team help you, but you could be helping the team, in their time of need, when they need a lending ear or a shoulder to lean on, or a hug, or just a simple conversation. This is what the fire service is all about. Obviously, we respond to calls, suppress fires, EMS emergencies, or rescues, or whatever the case is. The big thing is building a relationship internally so we can be exceptional externally. So that's what fire departments are looking for in a candidate. They're looking for an individual that's up to par in their social wellness. As for intellectual wellness, it's about being open-minded, humbling yourself, and continuing to expand your knowledge throughout your life. Why is intellectual wellness important to the fire department? Our firefighter career is ever-changing, so we need to make sure that we're continuing to enhance our skills and continuing to learn throughout our career. We typically do this through CEs, on top of the other training that we do throughout the course of our career. CEs aren't required just for us to gain knowledge. We also utilize them for recertification, like for your EMT or your paramedic. Every 2 years you have to have a certain amount of CEs to recertify for those certifications. And although they're different, EMT versus medic being a little bit more extensive, the same concept applies. You get your CEs so you can recertify, but then through your CEs, you're continuing to expand your knowledge and touch upon your skills. Also on the job, I know through my department, I had the benefit of becoming a hazmat technician and then a technical rescue technician, so hazmat TRT. And with those certifications, we needed CEs as well. So once a month, we had CEs for hazmat and TRT to where we can gain our knowledge, enhance our skills, and have the CEs required for recertification in the future. So thinking of intellectual wellness, the open-minded aspect of it, firefighters typically don't like change, but we really have to humble ourselves and remain open-minded because there's so much change in the fire service. Change that consists of new ideas emerging, new techniques of fighting fire, or new EMS equipment to work with, or new fire equipment to learn and work with. And a big one is new members coming into the department. There's all these generational gaps. You have all these different generations that have different upbringings. I worked with a captain who had about 30 years on the job, and we had multiple conversations about working, like how often we working overtime. And one of the big things that he brought up was he noticed that the younger guys weren't really pulling in the overtime. And he would say how back in the day when overtime was up, it came and went. But with us, he noticed that wasn't happening. He would ask me, like, why is that? And only thing that I can tell him is I truly value my time off. Although there are times where I'll step up for the department, or I want a little extra money, so I'll put my name in the hat for overtime. But typically when my day's off and I'm not volunteering for our charity union events, I want to be home with my family. And he started realizing that that's what our generation valued. We valued our days off. This is just one specific example of how he could have easily been frustrated that, man, what's up with our young guys? What the heck are they doing? Where's the tradition? Where's the commitment? But he started kind of opening his eyes to see that we're all different. We got to accept that that's how they are. And although he may not like it to a T, that is what it is. We're family, we're teammates, we're crew members, and we're here to do a job. That's just one aspect of the whole being open-minded and humbling yourself and being accepting. So intellectual wellness is definitely something that fire department is looking for in a candidate. As for occupational wellness, basically this means you need to love your work. Our normal working days consumes most of our week, so how we feel about work can directly affect our overall well-being. Simply put, if we're negative and unhappy at work, it can definitely spill into the other aspects of our life. So why is occupational wellness important to the fire department? For the most part, we as firefighters pride ourselves in maintaining a balance between work and our at-home life, making sure we're doing the best to control the stresses in our life. We do this to build and maintain healthy relationships within the workplace and at home with our families. Although I must say there are EMS providers out there that are cancerous to an organization, just like any other job. They're negative, have horrible attitudes, are lazy, they don't buy into the mission and goals of the department, and they tend to isolate themselves from the camaraderie within the department. Don't get me wrong. We're all human. There's times where we complain, times we may be coming off negative, we may have a bad day or a bad situation, whatever the case is, but there's a difference between occasional complaining and negativity versus all the time. And there's some individuals in the department that are persistent with negativity, and they're pretty hazardous around everyone else. No one wants to be around them. You don't want to be that individual. And a huge difference between the occasional complainer versus the all-the-time complainer is the occasional complainer does a great job of grounding themselves, remembering why they're doing what they're doing, and remaining positive. To be honest, there's really no room for cancerous individuals in the fire service. We see so many things, we are exposed to so many hazards. We really don't need any hazardous or cancerous individuals within our department, at our fire stations, around us. Although we are not perfect, the hiring boards will do a great job of sifting through the candidates, making sure that they get a solid choice. There will be some candidates that slip through the cracks though, just like they have in the past. I mean, it's part of the testing process and it happens. But when those individuals do slip through the cracks, it doesn't go unnoticed. It'll eventually come out. You need to understand that your attitude at work directly can affect your occupational outcomes. For instance, within a department promotion, if you're a dirtbag, a negative person, you have no drive, you're lazy, you're a terrible crew member, we're not going to forget that. So when promotional time comes, no matter how well you do, why would we promote you? Why would we put you in a position of leadership or a position behind the wheel or wherever the case is, a hazmat, TRT, when we knew who you were? You're not just going to all of a sudden change. So you need to be very cognizant about your reputation and your attitude around work. Always be positive, your best. I mean, you're not going to be perfect, but the goal is to 9 out of 10 times, 9.99 out of 10 times, do your best to be positive. One of the biggest aspects of our job as firefighters is getting along with one another. You want people to enjoy being around you. You want people to, when they're driving to work, checking the roster to see who they're working with, they see your name and they just get excited like, oh my goodness, I'm working with such and such. That's what you want. We've all done it. I've done it multiple times. There's times where I'm checking the roster to see who I'm working with and I see a negative person. I'm like, oh, gosh, I really don't want to work with this person, but it is what it is. You just want to be on the other end of that. You want to be that person that people are excited to be around. So all in all, pay attention to your occupational presence and attitude now, because fire departments are definitely looking for this. As for environmental wellness, this means actively doing your part to enhance the environment that surrounds you. Why is environmental wellness important to the fire department? Well, think of it like this. If you're out there throwing trash on the ground, that says a lot about who you are and your character. You don't care about, obviously, the environment. You don't care about others because we don't want to see your trash. So what does that say about you? Don't get me wrong. I've done my fair share of throwing trash, but as a young kid, as an adult, which you are going to be pursuing a fire career, that's not what we do. Now, think about it like this. Say you're driving down a specific block or area in your city that's known for being the more rougher area. You know, when you see trash everywhere, buildings are messed up, like what does it do to you? What does it make you feel? I know for me personally, whenever I drive down those blocks, first of all, I don't want to drive down them. Secondly, when I see it, it changes my whole mood just for that moment that I'm doing it. And it just tells me, God, this is disgusting, it's gross. I don't want my family to ever have to be here. I definitely wouldn't have my family live here. With that in mind, we see individuals that do that, or we know an individual that doesn't care about the environment that surrounds them. It's not just the environment of Earth itself, but even just being a crappy person around people, that environment that surrounds you, we're not gonna wanna hire you. So you definitely don't wanna be that person that can care less about the environment that surrounds them. There's a saying in the fire service that they tell the new guys when they come in, and it is, we need to leave the fire service better than we found it. That same attitude needs to be placed in the environment aspect of it, because we want our future generations to have a nice place to live. You know, if we're not taking care of our earth, we're not taking care of what surrounds us, our kids are gonna have to live in it, our great-grandkids are gonna have to live in it. We want them to have a nice place to live. So we got to do our part in taking care of the environment that surrounds us. And I can honestly tell you, it's important, because we don't want an individual that's going to come in and not take care of our fire station, not going to take care of our facilities, or not doing their part when the rest of the crew is pulling weeds and taking care of the grounds around the station. We definitely don't want those individuals. So you got to make sure you're doing your part to enhance the environment that surrounds you. As for spiritual wellness, I already know what you're thinking. Oh my goodness, he's going to talk about church and faith. Now here's how I'm gonna break it down. Spiritual wellness basically means you need to find meaning in your life experiences so you can be at one with your inner self in the outside world. I know what you're probably thinking, like, what the heck does that mean? If you're not at peace with yourself, where you're at in life, or what experiences you've had to endure, how can you give genuine, encouraging, and positive relation to the outside world? Outside world meaning us fire members and the citizens we serve. Spiritual wellness is important to the fire department because if you're stuck in the past, how can you grow in your present and future? I like to utilize a crutch versus runner example for this. So think about it like this. Crutch meaning this is an individual that utilizes their adversities and struggles and tragedies in their life as kind of like support. And it kind of keeps them down. What they don't realize is it's not keeping them afloat, it's keeping them down. They usually got excuses for everything. Oh, poor me, they want attention. Now on the other end, you have the runners. So the runners are the individuals that in that moment, in the moment of their adversities, their struggles, and their tragedies, you know, they're grieving, or they're dealing with their issues. And there's time to time throughout their life, they may come back to get them, but it'll just be for that moment in time. For the most part, they utilize those struggles and adversities as their strength. Straight up, we've all been through struggles and adversities in our lives. It's just a matter of how are we utilizing it? How are we growing and learning from these struggles and adversities? The fire department is looking for candidates that are strong in this area. Due to the stressors of the career, it demands a strong individual in this area. If you're wondering how do you obtain a stronger spiritual wellness, here are a few examples that you can utilize. Taking time to think about who you are, practice acceptance, meditate, yoga. Seek out faith that you agree with. With all this being said, let me say that it is okay that we may slip in a particular area or multiple areas of total wellness throughout our lives. We are human. It's about having awareness and taking persistent action daily to nurture, grow, and develop our total wellness in all aspects of our lives.
For those of you that made it this far, be sure to check out video 2 of our 3-part series.
I want you guys to do a couple things for me. I want you to comment down below what future videos you'd like us to make that will help you along your process of becoming a firefighter. I want you to like the video if you found it helpful and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Be sure to check out our social accounts linked below. And I invite you to join our Facebook group of like-minded individuals pursuing their goals and dreams of becoming a firefighter. We have some huge content being developed for you guys, so be sure to stay engaged. All in all, keep your head down and work hard. Good luck, future firefighters.